A Kiwi C-130 on final approach to Dili. When the first troops arrived here 3 months ago, the East Timorese capital was smoking ruins, the streets deserted. Now on the ground, some semblance of normality. Amid burnt-out shells in towns and villages across this shattered country, people are starting to rebuild their lives. But the horrors of those final days of Indonesian military rule, of the militias, the madness, are never far from the surface. We're travelling through the small town of Lakeisha, where New Zealand military police are involved in investigating a number of atrocities. Today, another site, another murder file, another body to be exhumed.
Of all the Kiwi MPs that are here at the moment, we're probably all running with about between 20 and 30 murder investigations, along with a number of other incidents. Those incidents are involving bodies from one body at a location up to multiple bodies.
Police were led to the gravesite by villagers. They say a local man, a father, was killed here by a machete-wielding militiaman. His son, a witness, is questioned through an interpreter, while in the background, the digging continues.
It would seem that he's been stabbed once with a machete, somewhere under his left arm. It looks as if it's punctured his heart because he's run maybe 20 or 30 metres and dropped.
You can see the pants that he's wearing. Generally, when the bodies are exhumed, it's fairly frequently that you'll find indications that they're not just a natural causes death. The hands will be tied. It's fairly frequently that various limbs are missing, and there is generally strong indications that they've suffered a traumatic death.
The process of exhuming the body will probably take another 2 hours. Once that has been done, the hole behind me here will be blessed and the body removed by the family for another ceremony so it can be properly laid to rest. With the departure of Indonesian forces, local villagers are now coming forward as witnesses, identifying those believed to be responsible for atrocities. One such witness lies in a hospital bed at the New Zealand Army's Ford Surgical Unit in Suai. Her name, Orlindo Eduardo. She is believed to be the only survivor of the now infamous massacre at the Suai Catholic Church.
Essentially, the whole of that joint has been destroyed by the bullet.
Orlindo was found with a heavily infected gunshot wound in a transit camp. We were asked not to question Orlindo about that massacre. She's only just finished briefing military investigators. The doctors here felt she had already faced enough trauma. The hardship, the devastation inflicted on innocent East Timorese beggars description. From the air, you get an idea of the scale of the vengeance wreaked on this population. Mile after mile, village after village, razed to the ground. Hundreds of thousands forced to flee their homes, driven across the border into West Timor. This is the border crossing at Salali, about 30 k's from Suai. It's been manned by New Zealand forces for about the last 5 weeks. During that time, some 25,000 East Timorese have come back from West Timor across this border. They've come home. On the day we arrived, it was eerily quiet. The TNI soldiers, the Indonesian military, steering across the border from their makeshift checkpoint, eyeballing the Kiwis less than 100 metres away in their bunker. After an initial flood of refugees, the number of East Timorese crossing at this checkpoint has slowed to a trickle, and that's worrying the UN.
What they tell us is that they were very often under life risk when they decided to return, that they were intimidated in their own camps by militia.
The intimidation also takes the form of propaganda, misinformation.
Most of it's saying that your family will be separated, you could be murdered or raped as you come into West Timor.
How do you battle that then? How do you try and win the minds of the refugees so they feel safe again?
When they come over to East Timor, we meet them on the border. We escort them into a secure area, and there they pretty much get to relax. They get a bit of a kia ora, how's it going? We say hi to them in the local language, give them a bit of water and shelter, and a few smiles don't really go astray.
And it's the smiles you notice around this border, patrolled by Kiwi troops. Everywhere you go, you hear cries from children yelling, Kiwi, Kiwi, kia ora.
They love us. They love us. Love talking to the kids, younger fellas. Yeah.
And there's always a wave and a kia ora, it seems.
Oh yeah, we taught them that. Yeah.
Smiles and reassurance amongst a ruined landscape. Kia ora will be a word remembered here by the East Timorese long after our troops have gone home.